And without further ado, let me introduce Jerry Miller.
Guys, thank you for the time. My name is Jerry Miller. I own a digital ad agency in Charlottesville called VMV Brands. We do anything from website design and development to brand identity creation, SEO, SMO. We build smartphone applications. We do social media campaigns. Essentially, we position your brand, your message, and the product you're providing or selling in front of thousands of people. Our agency reps 19 of the top 20 restaurants from a Facebook traction standpoint and like standpoint. An important metric for you, industry standards. Ad age is a good indicator of this. Every like you have on a Facebook page translates to $10 in revenue per quarter. Think about that. Every like that you have on a Facebook page translates to $10 in revenue per quarter. A good example, Beer Run. Anybody know Beer Run? We all love beer here, right? I love beer. Beer Run has got over 6,000 likes on their Facebook page. You guys do the math. They advertise nowhere except for these free platforms like Facebook, Twitter, Foursquare, Instagram, Google+, Pinterest. It seems like one pops up every day, which is the somewhat intimidating aspect of this. It's like, where do I begin? Do I jump into Facebook if Twitter's getting traction? Do I jump into Instagram, although it was just acquired by Facebook? And I'm going to get into all that today. My goal with this presentation is for you to leave today legitimately with a handful of tips that you can plan and execute in your business model tomorrow. Tips that when you take notes or you start really absorbing and jumping into, you can apply to your model and drive incremental revenue immediately. That's the game plan. That's what we do with all our clients. We rep 87 businesses in Charlottesville, Richmond, DC. Really, this is something that is not of tomorrow or next month. This is something of yesterday. This is something of 2 months ago. This is something of 3 months ago. And if you're not jumping on it, your competition is and will pass you by. I'll give you a little background on myself. Arrived in Charlottesville in 2000, thanks to the University of Virginia. By 2005, I was working at the Daily Progress as a staff writer. By 24, I was the youngest editor in the history of the newspaper. That led to a local radio show. Local radio very quickly led to syndicated radio, and I'm 25 years old now and have a syndicated radio show on 3 states through 15 affiliates. Virginia, West Virginia, the state of North Carolina, some into DC as well. Very quickly, TV came calling and gave me 2 TV shows on NBC 29, also did a TV show in Richmond, Jerry Miller Show, Varsity Lights. And very quickly found that traditional media, while it does have its value, it also has its downfalls. And I think the downfalls of traditional media, we all are becoming very aware of. Traditional media oftentimes is rather expensive when it comes to positioning your brand on these platforms. Traditional media is difficult to track from a metric standpoint. How many people really heard that 30-second commercial? How many people really saw that commercial? Was it positioned on the PSAs, the public service announcements at 3 a.m.? Or did you get that great positioning in Oprah or the newscast or Law and Order? Very quickly, the clients that were involved with these platforms said, Jerry, we love what you're doing, but your rates are expensive and we can't track results. The entrepreneur in me said, well, how can I solve this problem? And how I solve this problem is leveraging digital. The beautiful thing about digital is you can track results. You can see the analytics. You can see the metrics. The beautiful thing about digital is the platforms are free. I mean, that's worth repeating. The platforms are free. If you master these platforms, and yes, it'll take time. Yes, consulting with somebody that knows what they're doing is certainly going to point you in the right direction. But if you do that, you save money in the short term because you're not forking out as much money out of pocket to traditional media. And then you make money on the back end when you're really killing it from a social media standpoint, from a digital marketing standpoint. I'm going to get straight into it. And this is as much about an introduction as it is leading with strategies. And I'm one of those guys that gets distracted. So if you have a question, put your hand in the air and let's just get into it. Literally, let's make this an open-ended conversation with you guys and us. And let's have a good time here. Basically, what I'd like for you to do is take a look at the slides up top. And how many times have you heard word of mouth marketing is important? I mean, a referral from a customer or a client goes a hell of a lot further than a referral from an ad in a newspaper. It goes so much further if someone says, this is the person to call if you need work on your back. Go see Wayne at Cox Chiropractic. This is the person to call if you need law work done. This is the person to call if you need some strategic advice from a management standpoint. And if I give that referral to somebody, that person is much more apt to trust me because of that friendship that's in place. That's what social media is. Think about it. If someone is posting on their page, Twitter, Facebook, Foursquare, Google+, whatever it is, I love this architect. I love this contractor. Use them. I am much more apt to trust that than if I saw an ad on radio, heard an ad on radio, saw an ad on TV, read an ad in print. Please realize that word-of-mouth marketing today is exactly what word-of-mouth marketing was 50 years ago. It's just being done on a computer screen. It's being done on an iPhone. It's being done, guys, on a tablet. I mean, I have an iPhone, an iPad, a laptop, a desktop computer, and this is only going to get crazier. I mean, it's only going to get crazier. I was thinking about camping out for the iPhone 5. How lunatic, how crazy, okay? So please, please, please understand where word-of-mouth marketing is going today. Ownership of the respective communities, think about the power you have there. Why do you fork out money with radio? Why do you fork out money with TV and print? Because they have this great community in place that they can position your brand in front of, correct? Well, if you own the community, then that empowers you to position your brand in front of anybody you want. If your Facebook page has 10,000 likes on it, ladies and gentlemen, you can put a call to action message in front of 10,000 people 5 times in one day. And that right there is going to drive bodies into your storefront. That people is going to drive bodies into your law practice. That's going to drive bodies into, if you're a surgeon and you're trying to up your client list, that'll drive bodies into your practice as well. Think about the power you have of owning the community. That's the game plan. That's where you should go. Set a benchmark. It's September 20th, 2012. I have 400, 500, 10,000 likes on my Facebook page. In 6 months, I'm going to be here. And work your way there. We can certainly help you do that. You have to reach the consumer on the devices or platforms or technology that they're leveraging. We all see where the marketplace is going from an iPhone standpoint, from an Android standpoint, from a smartphone standpoint. 44% of the marketplace has smartphones now. I can guarantee you, and I never use that word because I would rather underpromise and overdeliver, but I can guarantee you that 44% is going to be 50%, 55% as the years go on. I think we're all in agreement there. And as these iPhones and these smartphones become more ubiquitous, if your brand is not on them, you are losing market share and traction every day. That smartphone will revolutionize marketing. Book that. I'll get into that as we move on. Save money and time on traditional media. I've already touched on that. So much money you can save. You make money on the front end, you make money on the back end. Every day a new digital or social media concept platform hits the marketplace. The new darling is Pinterest. Anybody on Pinterest? Yes, you guys are smart. Pinterest is without question the new darling. It's photo heavy. If you are selling a product, you can leverage this platform to position your photos in front of quite a bit of people. What you gotta do though is leverage the king, which is Facebook, to drive traction to your Pinterest platform. We'll show you how to do that as this presentation goes on. There are so many different cool resources out there that, ladies and gentlemen, most importantly, are absolutely free. Now, when you meet with any brand strategist, if they're of anything, worth anything, they're going to ask you a couple of questions. Who are you trying to reach? How are you trying to reach them? If you don't have the answers to those questions, then the plan that's executed will not come to fruition correctly. You have to know my customer is this, their age is this is what they like, these are the devices they use. If you have that information, ladies and gentlemen, that's priceless and so valuable. You can start targeting advertisements based on interest. I ran a marketing campaign, and I'm choosing my words carefully because they're an active client, but it's a product that is used to, it's used to clear fungus, okay? So we ran a campaign and we targeted swimmers. We targeted people that work in military settings because they're always in boots. We targeted construction workers. This campaign raised awareness for this particular product, and their business, ladies and gentlemen, was not up single percentage points, but we're talking double-digit percentage points. And it's from a campaign that was done through Facebook. That right there is I think, absolutely amazing. It was done with us sitting in an office and putting a plan together by targeting ages, interests, by targeting what people were wearing, and all that information is readily available. It's amazing what the marketplace will publish on their Facebook page. It's amazing what people will say, whether it's love, whether it's broken hearts, whether it's hobbies, whether it's what they were doing that night or the day before. If you can leverage that information, you can make money. If you can leverage that information, you can raise awareness. Say if you're a politician, you're running for office. That data is priceless, because that data tells you about the person you're going after or should be going after. That's what we do for our clients here. Fourth step, go all in with digital marketing and social media. You cannot do this halfway. The marketplace is entirely too intelligent. If you're doing, one post a day or 2 posts a week or 3 posts a month, the marketplace is going to see that and they're going to say, what is going on here? It's not going to look well on the brand. If you leverage the platforms correctly and actually put the equity that you should into it, that's when you get the return on investment. A Facebook newsfeed, guys, clears every 2 hours. So what should you be doing? You should be doing a Facebook post every 2 hours and 1 minute. That positions your brand in the newsfeed and keeps it present. Think about it. Everybody's familiar with the newsfeed, correct, on Facebook? If it clears every 2 hours, why isn't your brand, your call to action messaging, your logo, your video, why isn't that in that newsfeed at the 2 hour mark? You can do it. There are platforms and third-party apps right now that allow you to schedule these. So you can go in the morning and schedule the post for the entire day. You have no excuses, folks. There's no excuses for you not to be using this now. Your competitors are doing it, and if your competition is doing it, it's time for all of us to do it, because it's about making money. And that's what social media does. It helps you make money. Now, I want to take one step and say, be careful of the third-party apps. If you're able to do it in real time, it's much better, and here's why. When you leverage a third-party app, you're not interacting with Facebook. You're not interacting with Twitter. And because you're not interacting with those platforms, Facebook has gone on record and said, look, you're not interacting with our platforms, so we don't get the metrics. We don't get the time on site. We don't get the page views, which we then try to leverage and sell to the Oldsmobiles or the Chryslers of the world, the Mitt Romneys, the Barack Obamas of the world. Okay? So they're literally saying, if you don't use it through our platform, you won't get the visibility that you should. You see what I'm saying? Does everybody get that? So when you're posting, if you can do it in real time on the platform. If you can't do it, better than nothing, use a Hootsuite. Leverage a Hootsuite. Check it out, hootsuite.com. Very great publishing tool. If you're able to apply this to your business model tomorrow, you're going to make more money than before you got here today. Okay, Hootsuite is a good one, but if you can do it in real time on the platform, that without question is the way to go. So tomorrow when you sit at your office, get your notepad and say, who am I trying to reach? Where am I trying to reach them? And then jump all in. I'm not talking, guys, little baby toe in the deep end. Do the cannonball into the deep end, and let's get the people wet on the side of the pool. That's what I'm talking about doing here. And social media can certainly offer you those advantages.